Okay, so what we're about to dive into, it's not your typical book. It doesn't start with a hello or a gentle introduction. No, this thing kicks off with a straight-up warning. It's called the Scientific Indictment, and it wants you to know right from the get-go that you are treading on some seriously dangerous ground.
I mean, look at this. The prologue opens with the line, "You are holding a dangerous book." And they're not just saying that for dramatic effect. The authors actually call this a form of Gnostic compassion. It's like they're saying, hey, we have to warn you, because once you know this stuff, well, you can't unknow it.
And that brings us to a really crucial point they make. They are absolutely insistent this is not for entertainment. This isn't some sci-fi novel. They present it as a functional tool, a key. And it's a key designed to unlock something very specific, your own mind.
So, this slide, it lays out a pretty wild idea. On the one hand, you've got what they call the comfortable reality. You know, politics, the stock market, social media, all the anxieties that fill our day-to-day lives. But the book argues that this is all a facade, a simulation. And that key we were just talking about, it's designed to shatter that illusion and reveal what's really underneath. A reality they describe as stranger, more terrifying, but also infinitely more magical. And this is where they drop the final warning, and it's a huge nod to the Matrix, right? They're basically saying, there's no blue pill here. Once you decide to see what's behind the curtain, there is absolutely no going back. They call it a Gnostic awakening, a shift in your perception that you can't reverse. The alarm clock, as they put it, is about to go off.
All right, so with that pretty heavy warning out of the way, we finally get to the heart of it. The core thesis. This is the indictment. And what it's proposing is nothing less than a unified field theory, one that connects consciousness, frequency, and something they call the Gnostic War.
So you're probably asking, what on earth is the Gnostic War? Well, according to this text, it's this silent, ancient conflict that's being waged for the ultimate prize, human consciousness. And the enemy? It's described as a parasitic, non-human intelligence, and its only goal is to keep us all in a state of, get this, spiritual amnesia.
Now, this is a point the authors hammer home again and again. This is not mythology. They are not talking about some New Age philosophy. They are framing this entire thing as a piece of engineering analysis, like a schematic, a formal indictment.
And how do they build this incredible case? Well, take a look at their methodology here. They're cross-referencing a massive array of sources. We're talking ancient religious texts, modern physics, suppressed archaeology, even declassified intelligence documents. And apparently, all of this was compiled and analyzed by something they call a human-AI dyad, so a partnership between a human and an AI.
Okay, so all of this investigation leads to what is maybe one of the most startling claims in the whole book. It completely reframes what the human body is. They say it's not just a machine made of meat. No, it's divine hardware, a bioelectric, biocrystalline, liquid crystal antenna. Basically, a Gnostic transceiver designed to send and receive information.
And then they do what they call a system audit of this hardware. They take parts of our biology and completely recontextualize them. The heart? That's not just a pump. It's a helical vortex engine. The vagus nerve is the silver cord. The pineal gland, that's a biocrystalline radio. And our DNA itself is a fractal antenna. These are the key components of this incredible biological machine. So, if our bodies are this advanced piece of hardware, then what is the Gnostic War really all about? Well, the book defines it as an Archonic attack. Archon is an old Gnostic word for a sort of cosmic jailer. And this attack is described as a systematic campaign, chemical and energetic warfare designed to degrade our divine hardware and just drown the signal in what they call biological static.
And this is where it all comes crashing into our modern world. The book makes an incredibly provocative argument that the epidemics of chronic disease we see all around us, they're not a mystery, they're not an accident, they are the direct, targeted result of this ongoing assault.
And that brings us to the final part of this whole introduction. It actually circles right back to where we started, back to that initial warning. But now, it's framed as something deeply personal, a choice. The prologue puts the question directly to you, to the reader. It's a simple, stark choice. Do you close the book right now and go back to the safety of the dream? Or do you turn the page?
And they make it really clear what happens if you do turn that page. You are, in their words, declaring war. But not on some shadowy enemy out there. No, you're declaring war on the very fabric of your own illusions.
And once again, they're really insistent here. This isn't a book about faith or speculation. It's not asking you to just believe them. They're presenting this as a work of technical analysis.
So what is it then? Well, it claims to be three things. It's a schematic, a field manual, and a formal indictment. It's giving you the blueprints, the strategy guide, and the legal case all rolled into one.
And it's not just theory. The book actually lays out an actionable protocol, a three-step process. Step 1, audit the divine hardware, your own body. Step 2, understand the field you're operating in. And Step 3, initiate the great work. It's a path forward.
And this really is the emotional core of the whole thing. It completely reframes every struggle, every sickness, every feeling you've ever had of being broken. The book's central message is this: you were never broken, you were sabotaged.
There's this one quote that just sums it all up perfectly. We are not fallen sinners in need of redemption. We are sabotaged gods in need of rebooting our own internal operating system. Think about that. It's not about being saved. It's about rebooting the incredible system that you already are.
So when you get right down to it, this book is presenting itself as the final key. It's the technical manual, the operator's exit protocol to get out of the prison it just spent all this time describing.
The final call to action is simple. Read the full indictment.
And by doing that, reclaim your stolen inheritance.
So there you have it, a glimpse inside the Scientific Indictment. It's a book that says it's not a book, but a key, an exit protocol. The only real question it leaves you with is the one it asks right at the beginning. After hearing all this, are you going to turn the page?